activate.
This is Living Power with Dan Hurst.
So Jehoshaphat's example reveals 6 basic principles for seeking God in the midst of the crisis. And that's what I want us to take a look at today. These 6 basic principles for seeking God in the crisis. And the first one is found in verses 1 and 2, and that is realize your helplessness. When you are in the crisis, the human thing is to find a solution as quickly as possible. And you start looking at, how do I solve this problem? But Jehoshaphat, who obviously was human, was thinking, I got to solve this problem, got to do something about this. The first thing he did right was he recognized his helplessness. And so these opening verses of 2 Chronicles set the stage. And it says that these people had decided to come against them. It doesn't indicate why they had decided to attack Jehoshaphat. All the text says is that they were at odds, that Israel was against. The odds were against them. That's what I'm trying to say. It was 3-1 basically. So 3 nations are coming to attack one king and his people. And these 3 nations formed this great multitude. That's the term that they used for it because they couldn't count them. And that phrase occurs 3 times in this chapter, and it shows the immensity of the problem. This was an overwhelming problem. And when you're in a crisis, it is an overwhelming problem. I mean, the thing, when we're dealing with small problems, little issues, little nitpicky things, those aren't really crises. They're a pain in the neck. They're why you need to wear that orange band on your wrist. But they're not crises. They're just little things that annoy us. But those crises that are overwhelming, things that we don't know how to solve, things that we don't know how to answer to, are the things that we're talking about here. And like I said, it could be something physical. It could be an emotional thing. It could be a family problem. It could be any number of things that we just simply don't have answers for. We don't know what to do. And what we have to do which is what Jehoshaphat did, is we have to come to this point where we recognize that there is nothing we can do about this. We're helpless without the Lord. And so when Jehoshaphat learned that there was this big multitude coming toward him, he could have immediately begun making plans. He could have started mobilizing the army of Judah. He could have sent ambassadors to other nations for help. But he didn't do any of those things. He began seeking the Lord. Fear gripped him. Now, this is really important to understand. Fear is an emotion that God created. And so it's okay to have fear in your life. You know, the thing that we have to understand is that courage is the management of fear. Courage isn't the opposite of fear. It's the management of fear. It's being able to keep your fear in check, to control it. It's okay to have certain fear. It's just that it's not okay for it to control you, for it to manage your life. And so he had this fear. And this great multitude was more than he could handle, and he recognized that he was helpless in the midst of this crisis and that he couldn't deal with this situation on his own.
On behalf of Dan Hurst and the Open Class, we want to thank you for watching. We hope it was a blessing.